You are trapped inside a machine that literally feeds on your emotions, and it works best when you are absolutely certain you are thinking for yourself. When The Matrix came out, we all laughed off the idea of humans being used as batteries to power a simulation. We called it clever science fiction and moved on. But the architecture of that movie is completely real right now. There are no pods, and there are no cables plugging into the back of your neck. Instead, there is a system designed to harvest your outrage, generate its own reality, and keep you perfectly distracted. You already feel this happening. You have that lingering sense that the news does not actually match reality. You realize that the intense anger you felt about a headline last week has been quietly replaced by a brand new outrage this week, and you cannot even remember what you were supposed to be mad about before. That is not paranoia, that is pattern recognition. And researchers have literally proven exactly how this works. 3 completely different researchers looked into this and found the exact same thing. First, there is the propaganda model. Mainstream media does not need some secret, shadowy cabal censoring them. They self-censor through their own structure. It is about who owns the outlet, who buys the ads, and which victims get humanized while others are ignored. It is institutional, which makes it incredibly hard to spot. Then you have the shock doctrine. Whenever a massive crisis hits, like a war or a financial collapse, the public gets completely overwhelmed. That disorientation creates a window. While you are panicking, someone in power has a policy preloaded and ready to go. The crisis is real, but the exploitation of your fear is entirely deliberate. Finally, there is the concept of moral panics. Society manufactures a threat, amplifies it way beyond what the actual data says, and generates massive public outrage. Laws get passed in a frenzy. Eventually, the panic fades away, but the laws, the surveillance, and the enforcement stay there permanently. You have seen this play out everywhere. Look at Canada. They passed a bill supposedly to protect local journalism from big tech companies. The crisis of dying local news was real, so the public went along with it. The result was that big tech just blocked news or cut deals that only helped massive legacy media corporations. The small journalists got crushed. The panic created the window, and the policy served the people already in power. Look at the United States after September 11th. The grief and fear were incredibly real. But the infrastructure built during that window of panic, the mass surveillance, the no-fly lists, the endless war powers, none of that disappeared when the threat faded. It became permanent. Look at Egypt. The state there has turned attention management into an absolute science. Every single week, a brand new, emotionally charged scandal drops. A celebrity messes up, or there is some nationalist drama. It completely burns through the public's emotional bandwidth before anyone can actually organize and demand real political change. The outrage is always fresh, and the system stays perfectly safe. Here is the wildest part that everyone misses. Everyone thinks they took the red pill. Everyone thinks they woke up and saw the system. But the machine accounts for that too. The conspiracy theorist who thinks they are a free thinker because they do not trust the mainstream news is still inside the machine. They are still generating outrage, still sharing content, still feeding the algorithm, and still getting played by a different set of narratives. The machine does not need you to be asleep. It just needs you to be busy, highly emotional, and convinced that everyone else is the sheep. You cannot just disengage because the system actually benefits from your apathy too. What you have to do is slow down your reaction cycle. The first 48 hours after a major story breaks are always the least reliable. Wait it out. Read primary sources. Ask yourself, who is benefiting from your anger right in this exact moment, before all the facts are even out? Start noticing the patterns. Ask yourself what happened to the thing you were supposed to be furious about 3 weeks ago. Most importantly, learn to separate the actual crisis from the policy response to that crisis. They are never the same thing. The entire system relies on every new generation figuring out they are being manipulated way too late to actually do anything about it. Now you know exactly how the machine works. Stop feeding it.